followed by a brief moment of silence. There's our flag. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's have a brief moment of silence. Okay. All right. So again, we've already talked about the public comments. I don't know, are there any comments before we start, Carrie? Anybody?
Nobody's raised their hand.
Okay. All right, our first item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes from June 8th.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to go back. We did have one public comment just raise their hand.
Okay, all right. So
we'll unmute them now. Let's see. Give me a second. Alrighty, last four digits of the phone number are 3352. Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. This is Catlin Chode and Robert Chode. We're merely introducing ourselves because we've been looking at downtown Sykesville for a possible location for the business that we're looking to open. And are here to help start making connections.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you for introducing yourself. And it was Patrick Chope?
No, Catlin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Catlin. And what was the other
one?
And
Robert.
Robert Chope. Okay. All right, great. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that it, Carrie? Any other? Okay. All right. So our first item is the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes from June 8, 2020, and the reappointment of Ed Sinkhole and Michael Shiner to the Planning Commission to 5-year terms expiring July 2025. So any questions with the consent agenda, or does anybody want to pull anything out? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, all right, so the consent agenda is approved. Our first item on the new business is to consider and discuss and act on the Circuit Rider Resolution 2020-03 and the pertaining documents that with that. So I didn't know, did you want to share on this a little bit and just give everybody a quick update? Or
well, again, again, it does continue our participation in the Circuit Rider program. The dollars that are associated with it, again, it's that $1,200 or $1,250 to MRDC and another $20,000 contribution to the Circuit Rider, are included in the town's budget for current fiscal year. So the only thing we need to do is approve all the documents and move forward.
And just a quick update. I mean, this is Jared Schumacher, who is our Circuit Rider, and he's done a great job. So we're excited to be able to keep this program going, and we're fortunate to have this available so we can do that. So that's exciting. All right. So
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-03.
We have a second. We got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions or opposed first? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okie dokie. So then that item is approved. Alrighty. And our next item in the new business is to consider and discuss and act on the award of the fiscal year 2021 paving contract.
Yes. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is our annual paving bid that we put out every year. Again, we did have some questions along the the bid period. So it required us to kind of push back the bid opening till just this morning. So again, that's why this information was not included in your council packets. But we did have a successful bid opening this morning. Again, we did receive 6 total bids. As you can see on your screen there, those are the 3 lowest bids. So CPE came in again as the low bid. They've been doing most of our paving work here in town for the last 6 years or so. So again, we're happy to keep them on board. Again, those 3 projects were, it was part of, I'm forgetting the names of the roads, but I know it was a part of 3rd Avenue. It was a part of the Sandusky Road, and I believe it was all of Harlan.
Yes.
Those all 3, right, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then again, all of this, the monies that's going to be used to pay for the repaving of all of those roads are actually included in the town's budget for FY21. We do use the highway user revenues. So again, even with the reduced expectation from highway user revenues, this bid does actually come within what we believe is reasonable that we'll be receiving on the HER revenue. So again, we're comfortable moving forward with CPE as bid and recommend approval tonight.
Okay. Any questions from anybody on this? Okay, so we're gonna move, are we actually approving awarding the bid to CPE then?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? And then any abstentions? Okay, all right, great. Well, good job. I know you guys have worked hard on getting that together despite all of what's going on. So thanks, Mark and Joe, for working on that to get it squared away. And okay, so our next item on the agenda is the announcements and reports. The next Mayor and Town Council meeting is on Monday, August 10th. This too will be a Zoom US meeting. We've been talking about ways to get back into the in-person meeting, so I'm going to talk to some of the other towns again and see how that's been working out and how they're managing it. But we do have a small space, so we're kind of concerned about how to keep people appropriately distanced for safety. We have volunteer opportunities available on the Historic District Commission, our Sykesville Parks and Rec. The police auxiliary can always use help, and a crossing guard for when school does resume. So give you plenty of time to get familiar with the job and maybe help out on a reduced schedule depending on what happens with school. But you can contact the town at sykesville.net for more information about volunteering with the town, and we'll see how we can get you hooked up. Staff updates. Our first staff update is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. How's everybody doing?
Good, thanks, Craig.
Hopefully everybody got the second version of the June's Treasury Report. I'm sure you got 2 versions. I kind of jumped the gun on the first version, so apologize there. My first go around at that. So we're trying to obviously advance things like we said from the last meeting, that we actually would try to do a more timely presentation of the financials, and that's what I was trying to accomplish. I think another misleading thing, as I put it at the top there, is preliminary. I really probably should just put unaudited, was probably a more appropriate thing to put, because I'm sure I've faked a few people out. I know Al was a little like, what's that mean? And do we get to approve that or not? So again, that's probably a bad choice of words there. It was preliminary just in the sense of, yes, there'll still be some adjustments, especially when the auditors, get their job done. But as a whole, it's pretty close. I did do some major reconciliations of some of the larger bank accounts, as you're seeing up right now. And obviously, if you had a chance to look at the actual statement of earnings, We actually caught up. I was surprised Joe called it. He was saying the revenue was going to catch up, and I didn't believe him, but that goes to show you how much experience I have in the government world, that I was wrong. And we did manage to catch up pretty well on the revenue side. So that was good news. I don't know if anybody has any questions at this time, but at this time I'd like to present that for the board to approve or disapprove, or any questions at this moment.
So any questions for Craig?
Good deal.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 2020 Treasurer's Report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so the treasurer's report's approved. So yeah, thanks, Craig. And I think they actually used to put on there, I think we used to have it on the past. It just said unaudited.
Right.
Yeah, so that makes
Probably
sense.
could get a stamp and everything, make it look official and everything.
There you go. Okay. But
They'll be in a couple of weeks. Actually, they're starting in the end of July. Their work up. So just give a heads up there.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. We appreciate it, and appreciate all you've been doing too, because Craig's been showing up vigilantly during this.
Every day.
Yes, thank you.
I haven't missed one day.
I know, we can't thank you enough, so thank you.
Because he's a new employee, he doesn't have vacation time. He can't.
Well, whatever it takes to help show up. Thank you.
But I'll take some comp time if you want to give it up. As hazard pay.
And Mark's been there a lot too, helping out. So we appreciate you guys a lot. All right. Public safety report. Chief, you're up.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're going to talk about the public safety report covering June 2nd to July 5th. It's a rather big one because it's, like I said, a little over a month. So during this period, we had a total of 770 events. I'll just highlight some of the areas that you all are most concerned with. The assist other agency, we had 17. We also had 17 community policing events, 26 foot patrols, 537 patrol checks, and 65 traffic enforcement initiatives for a grand total of 770 events. We also had during this period 23 incident reports, which are reflected in your packet, pages 2, 3, and 4. And I would entertain any questions you may have about any of those incident reports.
Any questions for the chief?
Hey, Chief, I forgot to ask you this a little bit earlier, but 00117, where the driver fled the vehicle. Yeah. Did you guys ever catch up to that guy?
We have not yet, but we know who he is, and we've obtained charging documents for him. So it will be a matter of time before he will be charged.
Okay.
That was great police work by PFC Betcher to be on routine patrol in the area and to recognize a person who he had encountered in the past that he knew to be driving without a license, and to initiate the stop, and then the good common sense to terminate the chase when it went into Howard County. So that's what I look for from my officers, to have that kind of common sense and good judgment, not to unnecessarily risk themselves or others, basically for traffic related charges. So good job by Nick.
Hey, Chief, it's Jeremiah. I just wanted, no questions for you, but I wanted to mention that the auxiliary was out late over the last few days, and they caught me on a late night walk and stopped me and asked me what I was doing and if I was okay. And I just want to say it's one of the reasons why I think the town is the way that it is. So thank you for that, and
I agree.
pass on the compliments.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have that auxiliary unit, even though the numbers have dwindled. We are actively seeking, as the mayor mentioned, more volunteers to help us in that capacity. But we've brought the auxiliary back on board more now. They're starting to be more proactive, more involved in helping us with any events like the First Friday events and the farmers market, things like that. So I agree, they're a great resource for us to have.
Hey, Chief, it's Leo. How's the new farmers market layout working out?
Seems to be working well. The officers that have worked the events have said that everything went fairly smoothly. No major incidents or issues. So I think overall working well.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
I think some of the business owners like it better that way too, to be honest with you. They like the dispersed layout. Seems to bring people all through town, you know, so I think the response has been good. So wanted to thank you for being creative and figuring that out. Maybe it'll be something, one of those things we learn for the future that might work well long term.
I agree. Hey, I did want to mention that unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to cancel our junior CSI event for the fall. Took after a lot of thought and consideration, you know, this would have been the 12th year consecutively that we had this event, and with the uncertainty of the school year, as you know, we partner with Sykesville Middle School to hold this event, and of course, with the uncertainty of what's going to happen in the fall, it just didn't seem feasible that we were going to be able to pull this all together this year. So it looks like we're going to have to cancel for this year, but very sad to report that because it's something we all look forward to, and I know it's well received by the community, but I think it's in the best interest of all involved that we postpone it till next year. And we're also talking about National Night Out too. That was due to come up on August 4th. I've reached out to the other chiefs, and it appears that most towns are postponing the National Night Out. There's a chance we could postpone it until early October, depending on what happens with the COVID-19 situation. But other towns are canceling it completely this year and just going to do it next year. So I will keep you posted on that. If there's any way that we can pull that together this year, even if it's postponed until October, we would love to be able to get out there. It's such a great community policing event. And again, our officers always look forward to doing that. But again, we have to take safety precautions into consideration and do what's best for us as well as the public. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Hey, Chief, one other thing, again, Jeremiah, and it's more of a thank you to the officer that was involved with the graduation parade. That went over very well. There was someone that was just a good citizen who recorded the event. The last I looked, which was a couple weeks ago, 6,400 people viewed the parade via that web link. And there was probably about 200 people. The folks in the front of the line, myself included, didn't see all those folks, but some of the folks in the back of the line did. And so there was about 200 people or so, and I think the fire trucks brought them outside. I was going to mention this a little bit later and say thank you, but you know, it seems more appropriate right now. So thank you very much for your assistance with that.
Yeah, PFC Kirkner did a great job with that, and he enjoyed being a part of it. So our pleasure.
Chief, going back to the cancellations or delays, I think your prudence is wise, shows courage to not do something like that in a case like this. Very commendable.
Thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to bring you guys up to speed on one last thing. As a result of the social unrest, you know, the Carroll County Chiefs have gotten together. We're trying to be proactive in many ways. We've actually formed two subcommittees, one to deal with use of force and another to deal with body-worn cameras. So I will be sitting on both of those subcommittees. In fact, we have meetings Wednesday and Thursday this week to discuss both of those issues, and I'll certainly keep you up to speed on what comes out of those committees. But I think it's great that as a county, all the chiefs are working together. I was very pleased to see that almost all of our use of force policies were very consistent and very up to date. And so that bodes well for the county. And I think the committee's work in these issues will be a good thing for all of us to maybe be proactive and not wait for Annapolis to tell us what we have to do, what we can do, or what we can't do, but we'll be proactive and decide for ourselves what's best to do with regard to these two issues and move forward. So I will certainly keep you up to speed on those things as well.
Chief, since you brought that issue up, I did reach out to MML in reference to some of the policing policies since the last meeting that we had. I can certainly share some of the information that I was able to get from MML. I would recommend that maybe you check in with, how the chiefs have, a national or a state-led group. I would check in with them. I would check in with MML as well, but I'll send you what they sent to me. It could be updated since the last time that they got in contact. It was probably 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wanted to, that's to say thanks for that, because I really do appreciate you guys being proactive and maybe even being a blueprint for others, in this. I think Carroll County's done a really good job at being sometimes a blueprint for others in certain areas, and it reflects well on us, and wanted to say thanks for that, and I appreciate you participating in those two things too, because that's huge to have you right there getting the information and being a part of that. So thanks, Chief.
My pleasure.
Yeah, that's.
And on a last note, the protests have gone well here in town. They continue on Mondays, just Mondays now. Last Monday we had approximately 35 or 40 people, and tonight we had, I think, about 16. So very peaceful and working well with the protest organizers, and things have gone well. So we're very fortunate.
Good. Yep. And thanks for handling that in the correct fashion as well. So thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We've all seen what can happen when things don't get handled right. So
Right.
we appreciate that.
My pleasure. That's all I have.
Any other questions for the Chief? Anything else? Okay. And then, and I wanted to thank you too. Yeah, we did have that event that Jeremiah had set up with what it really did. That was really cool. So I wanted to thank him too publicly for that, because it was nice to be able to recognize the graduating students of various grades and everybody. So it was nice. And then to see the people out, it kind of felt good for a brief minute to forget about all the negative stuff and the COVID-19 for a minute. And so thanks, Jeremiah. And then thanks again, Chief, for Jason, and the state police, I think, were there too, officer helping us. So that was pretty cool. So thanks again for that.
Well, and I also just want to thank the other members of the council who made it to the event. So Mark and Al, thank you. Mayor, thank you for coming as well. What it shows is a continuity amongst the council, that we care about everything going on in the town, right? Whether it's the businesses, whether it's the students. I also thought it was profound, considering, all the social unrest in reference to making sure that the police were part of it and to have the fire department part of it. It just shows kind of a continuity of the entire community. And it's a celebratory event. So, you get to go around and say thank you and congratulations to all those students. So all in all, I think it was a win-win-win type of situation for all involved. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you again. Yep. I agree. All right. So council committee reports. I don't know how much we have based on the way things have been, but we can start with Spark. Stacy, you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. From the Sykesville Park and Rec Committee perspective, we met end of last month and decided at that time to return our summer cinema series to Cooper Park, with the expectation that social distancing guidelines would be followed and maintained. And we opened the Snack Shack, and this past Saturday was our first movie, and had a fantastic showing, and everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves while respecting the social distancing protocols. The Snack Shack was open. It'll be open at the future movies. So for now, the drive-in theater concept has been put on pause. We did actually put forth a great deal of effort in vetting that and looking for somewhere in town that would be feasible for such a venue. we're still not ruling it out. I think it's a really great and cool idea. But right now, just because it was such a challenge, and because we were able to return to Cooper Park, that's what we are doing for the remainder of this summer. Other than that, we're still working on some outstanding projects, and looking forward to our yogas in the park to continue, and really, really super anxious about our South Branch Park being finally finished, hopefully by fall. So for now, that's about it. Our next meeting, let me pull that date here for us, unless Jana wants to jump in and save me as she usually does. Let's see here.
It's next Thursday, but I'm not sure the date offhand.
Yeah, I'm looking. It'd help if I was on July. Thursday, the 23rd. And I think we're going to try to stick to the 6 p.m. Time, and it'll also be Zoom. And so that'll be posted accordingly. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And then appreciate you trying to keep things moving a little bit during this difficult time. Yep.
For sure. We got a lot of dedicated committee members. So.
Yeah, so our thanks go out to them as well. So I want to send thanks. I know it's whatever normalcy we can keep going, I think is super appreciated, So thank you. And then I guess, Anna, you want to do the Historic District Commission?
Sure. We had met. We met last month, and we had 3 applications. First application was a continuance application. It was for 7518 Main Street. That was the old Kevin's Catering, where we had requested the architect come back with some modifications, and she came back with the modifications that we requested, and it looked really good, consistent with the other buildings in the area. So we approved the architectural drawings on the new building. The next application that we had was for a new roof on a house on Mellor Avenue, and that was approved. And then the last application that we had was from the Warfield Complex. They had presented to us a request to increase the colors of their siding many months ago, and we had asked them to come back with some suggestions. They brought some suggestions to us, and being that our meeting was Zoom, it was a little difficult to understand and conceptualize what these new colors were. So one of our committee members, Chad, is very familiar with building, as he is an architect himself. So he took it upon himself to go and physically look at the additional colors that they wanted, and we're waiting for his recommendations. So I think that they want to add 2 more colors. And that was it. And if there are any more applications, then we will be having a meeting on, what is it? On July 28th, Tuesday, if we have any. Carrie, do we have any applications so far?
We do not yet, and I do have the color recommendations from Chad. I'll send them out tomorrow to the HDC members.
Okay, perfect. So that was it for HDC.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. And then I guess we'll do the business folks. Al, you want to go next?
Sure. The merchants had a meeting June 26th, Friday. Basically talked about the first Friday of July, the setup, how things were going to go with that way. The flags were posted by Righty in the buckets. There was a couple of a roundtable discussion about stores being open a little bit longer because Main Street is the best in America now, thanks to Julie and the DSC. Just a roundtable about that. There was also a discussion about the Art and Wine Festival, just what kind of social distancing rules stores were going to have when they're open. A few of the owners are just a little bit concerned about that situation right there. And it was just a roundtable. The next meeting is July 31st for the merchants meeting. Also, July 1st, we had a Zoom merchant meeting with the commissioner about that was about 40 minutes. I was a little light on the attendance going on there, but there's a lot of talk about the new Carroll Rebound grant that Carroll County just okayed. Actually, I just saw today that there's an extension on the deadline to apply for it. And there was a lot of talk about how business is going with the commissioner. It was again some good roundtable discussions. The commissioner expressed interest in maybe having it live, like at the Freedom Fire Station. I shouldn't say live, but an actual meeting with social distancing. We talked a little bit about the masks, what the state is mandating on the masks and stuff like that. And then there was a talk about the county budget recap, kind of from Commissioner Rothstein's perspective and how that's impacting municipalities and businesses. And then we're going to do that, another Zoom meeting, July 22nd, Wednesday at 7 p.m. with him and the business owners again. And that was about it.
Okay, is that it? We lost you there for a second, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's it. Yes. Did you catch all that? Does anybody have any questions?
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Al. Yeah, I wanted to thank Al. It's been a great partnership getting Commissioner Rothstein in there, and then him sharing our information. And even though I don't think that not all the businesses were able to get there, they were all working, which was really good. A lot of them were busy that night and couldn't come, so it was a good reason not to be able to attend. And then but we've been getting the information out to them, so wanted to thank Al for that, to getting it out to them so that they're staying abreast of the grants and stuff. And it's been good. I mean, it's been positive, and I think it's helped a lot of them, so thanks, Al, for that. And then, as you mentioned, so Leo, well, you're up next, but we'll let you share we are definitely wanted to say thanks for Julie's efforts for so go ahead, you're up.
Yep, that was all Julie, just pushing on all that to get everybody to vote. And then her letter to the group, which was what really sent it over the top, because it wasn't like the prior one for the coolest small town where it was all internet voting. The last round was a direct appeal to the group, who decided that we were the best. So that worked out great. And again, that was all Julie. We have a board meeting next Monday night, and probably one of the big topics is going to be the upcoming fall and winter events, and are we going to be able to do these given what is still going on? Even with trick-or-treating on Main Street, that's now just 3.5 months away, believe it or not. So it's things we really have to start looking towards. So if I can't make the next mayor and town council meeting, I will definitely make sure I have an updated report on where we stand on those upcoming events. Farmers market's going well. Golf tournament has sold out of all its sponsorships, and there's only 30 registration spots left. And the mayor has graciously agreed to be the MC of the golf tournament. So that'll be exciting for everybody. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Oh, and we've applied for some grants. We're just waiting on responses to the grant applications. If we get those, I'll update as well.
Great. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. And definitely we wanted to thank Julie Della Maria for all the efforts from the DSC, the whole group, everybody and everybody here who voted too, because I know everybody voted. I voted like a lot, so we all clicked a lot. So, but thank you guys. It's pretty amazing to be able to share another thing like that, with being the best Main Street. So it keeps the energy going, especially during this time. So much needed to help. So wanted to thank her publicly and then the whole entire DSC and everybody for that effort. It's really been amazing. So one quick question, Leah, when do you guys need to know, like when do you have to make a decision? How far out does she need to?
Fortunately, the fall and winter events are pretty far in advance, so we've got a lot of time to work with, but we want to start planning sooner rather than later. So
yeah. I keep hoping we're going to get some vaccine or something, but you just never know what's going to happen. And I'm not sure it's going to be by the end of the year. So But okay, and then Jeremiah, anything from the Rain Cliff?
Other than little requests that come in, we haven't had any meetings. I don't have any updates for the group tonight. Thanks, Mayor. Back to you.
Okay, and then same with me. We haven't had any meeting with the Colored Schoolhouse. I think we're going to try to talk about to Jack and see what the future is for the upcoming for the gatehouse. So hopefully we'll have something for you in August. He has been working on the web stuff, I know, and doing a couple things on the internet for people to check out. So, but we're going to talk to him and get a sort of a see where things stand, and we'll have something for you next meeting. All right, next item then. So that concludes our open session, unless there's
No, I have an update.
Okie doke. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I forgot about planning.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's pretty
Planning
big.
Commission notes from,
I missed one.
that's okay. Planning Commission notes from July 6th. We had a few things. In addition to the notes you saw about the HDC's approval for 7518, they gave us a little more information about the possible new building. It is going to be offices, apartments, and this is the sticking point, possibly a pub. There are insufficient spaces, according to code, if they want to open a pub. For example, they have 9 spaces in one of which would be ADA compliant, and they need 25. There are some things about it that don't make the voting members uneasy, but we're going ahead. We'll see, but the idea that insufficient spaces do bother our people. We got some county updates, such as water sewer update by the end of July. And we had been consulted, even though the property in question is not within the town, about redistricting request for Fogel, a local company. They want to go from conservation to light industrial. All the voting members have expressed disapproval because that's conservation land and we don't want to turn it into light industrial. So even though, like I said, it's not our town, we don't look upon it favorably. And let's see, there's some guy named Costantini came in, slave driver, let me tell you. There's a kickoff meeting already took place. There's going to be more meetings on the master plan update. For example, there's one on the 16th at 6 p.m. We're going to have representation from people on the historic district, Parks and Recs, other citizens, planning commissions, a whole bunch of stuff. This will be done through MS Teams, and we're going to keep going and going. And that's it, except for my comment about what caliber weapon did they threaten you with to make you do a golf tournament? I mean, come on. I thought for sure you'd say no to that request. That's it.
Great, thanks, Mark. And then yeah, so and then we're hoping through the master plan too that we'll maybe find some things out for downtown parking. You know, one of the biggest challenges on Main Street is having adequate spaces for any type of new business. So I think one of the things I was hoping we would identify is maybe some flexibility, especially since we have the parking lot in the back, to maybe be able to not have such stringent parking requirements for Main Street, only because they don't seem possible. I mean, if we want to have a vibrant Main Street, we got to be thinking about this. So I'm hoping through this master plan process, we'll come up with a more Main Street parking setup somehow. But and FYI, I have never golfed in my life, so I'm going to participate in this thing. But you better look out. There's going to be a lot of 4. So this could be fun. So. Anyway, with that, now I think we're at the end of the open session. So is there any other comments, Carrie? Did anybody push *9? Okay. All right. So with that out of the way, we do have a closed session this evening. And the meeting is proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B. 8, and this is to consult with staff, consultants, and other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and this is for business, and then to discuss the Warfield agreement. So with that, I will make a motion for, I guess, a 5-minute recess or a 2-minute recess to let the CMC get off, and then we can have our closed session.
I'll second that.
All righty. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okie dokie. All right, so we'll let the CMC folks close up, and thank you, CMC folks, for doing this for us. Very much appreciated.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, Mark.
Thank you.